Welcome back. You're listening to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Don't forget to download your free app from your app store, your AM 1220 KHTS app. You can take us anywhere. And feel free, give us a call. We'd like to hear from you at 661-298-5487. That's 661-298-5487 or 298-KHTS. Today we're talking about excuses, how they can damage you, how they can stop you from being successful, how they can be hurting you. But, you know, Alex opened my mind to something I never even thought about, that we could actually be addicted to excuses.
Yeah, there are actually interpersonal addictions that we don't realize. Some of them are looking good, being right, and there's a couple others that just are fading my memory right now. But you know, there's a good possibility that there's an addiction that you have to making excuses because you get some kind of a goodie or a payoff. You know, the common payoffs are attention, you get pity, you get people to feel sorry for you. You know, you get all those pats on the back from, you know, complaining, whining. That's why people do it, because there's some kind of emotional payoff you get from other people. And it's kind of a neediness, like you need them to justify whatever's going on to make you feel better. But, you know, when you start to access your personal power, you realize that that's a game that doesn't really set you up to win. It's a game to kind of keep you in that psychological dysfunction of seeking this fulfillment from outside, you know, going to your pity committee and whining and complaining so that you can get the validation from external sources. And so when you're conscious, you wake up to that and you see that. Hopefully you have a coach or a mentor or somebody that loves you enough that you know they're not attacking you or putting you down, that can point that out to you, that you just go, wow. I remember the biggest breakthrough I ever had one time was in a leadership group that when in my 20s. And I was really kind of standing up for myself in this group. And one of my mentors pulled me outside and said, "Hey, can I chat at you for a minute?" And I go, "Yeah." And we went outside and he goes, "Do you realize right now you have all eyes on you?" And he goes, "And bless your heart, I get that you're standing up for yourself. But now after 10 minutes, it's now 20 minutes. And you have the whole room all about you. You're kind of being selfish." And I remember it was like this eye-opening for me to realize that from his perspective, I had now crossed that little window of opening for me to enroll the team into my idea. And after that point, now it became all about me. It was now more about, I was more committed to being right, and maybe there was an addiction to being right rather than what we were committed to, what was the team goal. And so it just opens up the possibility that you want to ask yourself is, with my excuses and with my complaining, am I getting some kind of payoff? And if you can honestly acknowledge that, yeah, there is some kind of payoff to it, figure out what that is, and then decide that it's a game that you don't want to keep playing anymore. It doesn't serve you.
You know, Alex, it reminds me of once I wrote what I thought was a letter, email to my team, raising them up, telling them how great I thought they were and what an amazing job they were doing, and so on and so on. And the gentleman who was mentoring me sent the email back to me, and he circled how many times I used the word I. And I was blown away.
Isn't that awesome?
It was crazy. And so much to the point that from that moment, I actually stopped using the word I. Even if it's bad grammar, I'll use we or us. And one of the things that I love that I've been working with you, and you just mentioned it, the payoff. I'm now in the process of, if I'm going to post something on Facebook, if I'm going to say something, I ask myself before I do it, am I doing this for a payoff?
Nice.
And what is that payoff? Am I doing this because I'm truly want to do nothing else but to raise Alex up? Or am I putting words in there that I want to have people look at me, the work that I've done? And I think that's a great thing if people would start just doing that before they speak, before they do. Let's just stop with Facebook, okay? Because most people are living on Facebook a little too much. So I would challenge everybody to say, am I posting this? A, would I be happy with grandma reading this? And B, am I doing this as a personal payoff?
Yeah, absolutely. If you really look at some of those posts, you can see that who the people that are, have some dysfunctions and they're getting some payoffs from it. And then you can see the ones that are, on Facebook to really make a difference or share themselves, or it's really used for, I think Facebook was designed in a way that is for healthy minded people to express themselves. But then you have some dysfunctional people that use it as a way to fulfill themselves externally, or to get the goodies or get the payoffs from other people, based on what they post, and then see all the comments. And, if you're really aware and conscious, you can see through that. You can see that. Hopefully you're compassionate enough to realize that everyone's on their own journey. There's no right or wrong. It's just where they're at. And hopefully someday they'll see it. And if they don't, then it's their journey. They're going to be paying the prices and the consequences for it. But yeah, if you want to grow and you want to take yourself to the next level, you really have to take a deep, honest look at yourself and trust somebody's opinion that is in that industry, that when they come to you and they're giving you like a heart-to-heart feedback, really stew on it, really chew on that for a moment, because it could be the breakthrough that you need to, crack open these possibilities for you to create some extraordinary things for yourself.
Now, as I'm listening to you talk, I got a challenge for our listeners that use Facebook, because I can even see this as a payoff. Because I know in my family, I got 15 likes. I got 25 likes. So even the fact that you're going back to see if you got likes, you're looking for a payoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I challenge you. Here's the challenge. Yeah. If you've got a post and you feel you do the check and you're sincere that this post is about lifting somebody up, I challenge you to post it and not go back and look and see how many likes you got.
Yeah, and that's what it takes to be really self-aware and really be conscious, is to, check on yourself and play these games. I play games with myself all the time to challenge myself, and I know that you do too. When I do some coaching with you, you'll come back a week later and you're like, oh my God, I started to challenge myself and I'm able to see some results. So I would take that challenge. If I were you and listening, just post something really good that you like, that you think that it would get a lot of likes, and then just surrender it, let it go.
Move on.
Yeah.
It's like what you shared with me a while back. We were talking about auditioning, and it's been huge for me, and I can see this put in the same scenario, because I asked you, I said, I actually do better in a class scenario. I used to, not anymore, right? Because I feel comfortable there. But, when I go on auditions, I kind of hate it. It makes me nervous. And then afterwards, I'm worrying about, did I do a great job or whatever? And you said to me, why? And you said, it's in the past. You said, you can't control that anymore. You need to focus on the thing. And that was one of those big moments for me. Just do it and move on and focus on what's now.
Yeah, when we start living in the moment, we free ourselves up to be able to take advantage of a world of unlimited possibilities that's available for us right here in this new moment. But when we're worried about stuff, when you're thinking about stuff, when you're stressed, usually when you're stressed, you're thinking about something that either is coming in the future, which is not really, there is no future. There's only the present moment. The present moment is the only thing that keeps showing up now. So we're either worrying about this so-called future, whatever's, coming down the pipeline, which may or may not even happen, or you're stressed and worried about something that happened in the past, which you can't change back there. You can only change it right now in the present moment. So it just shows you how unconscious we are, that we're either living in our mind in the past or living in our mind in the future, which doesn't exist, instead of being right here, right now, giving our 100% in this new moment.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs right now, right here, right now. Alex, so we've been talking a lot. We talked about addiction to excuses. We've talked about, how it can destroy you, how it can hurt you, how it can hinder you from your success. Now, for some of those people out there who maybe, they don't have somebody to give them an honest opinion, maybe they're not able to see it. What kind of things can a person look for to see that these are excuses I'm using?
I think you need, the greatest advice I ever got from one of my mentors in the early years is, he used to ask me to go around to people that I looked up to or people that I trusted, their opinions, some of my, my role models. And if I can get in front of them, is to pick their brain and ask them for honest feedback. And what he said to me was, you might not like the answer, but if you can get them to give you honest feedback without them having an addiction to being liked by you, and they're really powerful and confident people, and they can give you that honest feedback, take what they're saying and really sit with it for about a week. And I think the average person won't do that. The average person won't walk around and say, hey, can you give me some honest feedback of how I'm showing up? Because we're afraid to really look at that. We're afraid to really have somebody say, well, you know what? I notice you're really needy from my experience, or you show up to me as attention, seeker, or you would show up to me. Yeah, it hurt.
Ouch.
No, listen.
Yeah, you're right.
That ouch is what you want, because that causes some of my biggest breakthroughs, interpersonal breakthroughs have come when I've been disturbed. When somebody gave me some feedback and I had to just sit with it and like kind of linger with it and like, man. But what it caused was a new awakening, a new awareness. Now that I'm aware of, that's how I'm showing up, or that's the awareness that I'm having as that people are being turned off by or whatever, really had me look at how can I master that? How can I create some authenticity where I'm not trying as hard, or where I'm not seeking the approval of people, where I can get rid of some of those dysfunctions. It's in the awakening and having the awareness is what you want, but you can't have that unless you're around honest people that are willing to kind of call you on some things. I think the biggest breakthrough to have, somebody's whining and complaining is call up one of your friends that doesn't buy your BS. Mm-hmm. And when you call them, they go, hey, I'm kind of upset because my husband said that I'm being, a witch. And then you have your best friend say, well, are you being a witch? And then you go, well, wait a minute, whose side are you on? And it's like, well, I'm on your side, but I love you and I want you to win. And, from my experience, from time to time, you can act like that. And so I'm just asking you, how were you? And then you got to really take a look at yourself and go, well, hopefully you're laughing at yourself and saying, well, yeah, I guess maybe I was. That's when you can start to grow. When you're unconscious and you don't even look at that, and you have a whole pity committee of people that are patting you on the back, saying, validating that, yeah, you are the victim, and yeah, it is everyone else's fault, not yours, and it just has you not really look at how to take accountability and be responsible for it. That's
when that happens, and that is tough. I don't know where it came from, but as a kid, somehow I always was able to take criticism. Don't get me wrong, I didn't like it. Most of the time it hurt, and I'm like you. I like that. Even when I go to church, I like to go to a church where I come out of there feeling like I just went through a 12-round boxing match. Ooh, 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 like that. Because that's what that's why I don't want to go to a church where I come out kumbaya. That was great. They don't say anything that offends you.
Oh, you mean getting called on your stuff when the pastor or the priest or
and you're like, is he talking to me?
Yeah. You want to, and I tell that to when I do lectures, I tell the people that are listening. If you walk out of there and you're just a little disturbed, good for you, because you came here tonight to get the message that you're supposed to be getting. Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes I'll post things on our the women's empowerment group that we do Tuesday nights, and I'll say stuff like, some groups get together because they want to be liked and they want to, they want to, celebrate and have a party, and they want to, get the pats on the back. And then there's our group where you come and you get real work done, where you get called on some things or you get challenged on some stuff, and you walk out of there maybe not feeling good, but the next couple of days you're having breakthroughs. So what's your purpose of going to some of these groups?
To get better.
Is it not everyone goes to get better. They go to get the goodies, the payoffs. When you go to a bar, probably because you find all the victims that are whining and complaining to the bartender, and the bartender is probably like your best therapist and just kind of goes, yeah, I know how that feels. Here's another beer. That's basically what you're doing when you're going to some of these groups that aren't there to empower you and to call you on some things. That's where you're there to have those breakthroughs. Some of these groups, they go to really eat and laugh, enjoy, and have fun, and that's okay too. I'm not downing that. If that's what you want and that's what you need, sometimes we need that to get out of some of the dysfunctions of our homes and get around positive people where we can laugh and have fun, and that's an intended purpose. But if you really want to grow, get yourself in a group where they're going to have some inspirational speakers or people that are going to call you on some things, challenge yourself, get you outside of your comfort zone, because that's really where growth happens, is when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I now that I'm hearing you see that, I can see why in my training, because I call people on stuff, and I don't take those excuses. But, as a trainer, to take it to another level, we need to be compassionate about these people, to help them to have the wins, and find that. And I encourage, other trainers out there that are like-minded like me, find a way to, because if you are like me, most people make me crazy because I'm just keeping it real, right? Because I don't have any patience. I didn't have any patience for those excuses. But now I have patience for those excuses, and I find a way to help people win, and
I think that's what makes you go from a good coach to a great coach is, I think that one of your biggest assets is your heart. You have a huge heart, you care, and you're compassionate. And I think that when you're coming from a compassionate place, you're not getting tagged by those excuses. You're allowing those excuses to unfold, and then you're having compassion for that's where they're at in their journey. And then you're not entertaining the excuses. You're just kind of either maybe planting a seed or kind of overlooking it and then getting them refocused on why they got to the gym in the first place. I'm sure they didn't come to the gym to complain, right?
No, they didn't come. They came to get
a workout. Yeah.
But then they're used to.
They're used to people buying the excuses, and you just get to say, I'm not. That's you got to let people know too how the relationship's going to be when they come into your gym. You got to tee them up. Hey, by the way, when you come into my gym, this is how the relationship's going to look. It's going to look where one-sided, where I'm just committed to have you win. And I did it last night at the workshop that I do with the women's group. I told them, I said, some of you are going to misinterpret my intentions, but I need you to know right off the bat, from here moving forward, I want you to win, and I'm going to fight for you to win. And it's not always going to look pretty. I'm sorry. My coaches, they didn't look pretty to me, but I had some of the biggest breakthroughs in my life, and I'm glad that they didn't care about how it looked. I'm glad that they gave it to me raw and real. I had to rise to that level and to have some thick skin so I can have those breakthroughs.
Yeah, you really do. So kind of what I'm hearing you say, if you're out there and you got a wife or a husband, and if they come home from this group that's supposed to be helping them to get better, and they're like, oh, that was so much fun. We had a blast. Surely that's the wrong group, right? They want to come home like, man, so-and-so, she was so mean to me. I can't believe what she said. That's really what you want to hear.
Yeah, or just kind of like, how was the group? I don't know. I'm still processing it. It was really heavy. It was deep. It has me thinking. Those kinds of things. It doesn't have to be rough, but just it has to really make you think outside the box. And then if it went over your head, it was just the wrong group. You're not ready for that group at that time.
And one thing I want to say too, because if you are out there and you are part of these groups and you're saying, you know what, hey, I'm going to be bolder now. I'm going to be more honest. I could just see somebody running right now. I'm going to call so-and-so. I'm going to tell her what's up, right? Well, just remember, you need to come from a compassionate place.
Absolutely.
You have to check yourself and say, am I going to tell this person this criticism because I want them to help them to be better, or am I going to tell them this criticism because I want to hurt their feelings?
Yeah. You want to come from a compassionate place and give them that feedback from just an honest, loving place. If you come, I always tell, my clients, come from an honest, loving place, and, they might misinterpret it anyways, but just let them know, hey, is it okay if I share this with you? I want to be bold. I want to be honest. I want to be real. It's just my opinion. It's not true. It's just how I see it. It's just how I'm perceiving you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we got the real heroes. We've been working together, a month now, right? We weighed in last week. We got some new, great, exciting stuff. So, Andrew, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Hey, yeah, this is Andrew here. I am down 14 pounds and around 24, 25 inches total loss. That's arm, waist, stomach, everything. Feeling great. The energy level is just amazing. And before, when we started, I dreaded working out. Like, oh, I got to work out. Now it's, oh, I get to work out. So
yes,
it's great.
Nice. And one thing, Andrew, I ain't letting you go away. You used to do a lot of what before you started?
Oh, I was a beer drinker, total beer drinker. I go out, have a couple, see a game, do that. But now it's totally cut that out, and the football game's the same, and the excitement's still the same. So it's feeling good.
Awesome, Tom. What's going on with you?
This is Tom. I'm down almost 20 pounds right now.
Yay! Woo!
Yeah, and feel better, more energetic. Just enjoy working out. They're hard, but and I'm getting through it each time, and more energy, and it's just pretty awesome.
What's going on? What's different on your hand?
The difference on my hand is, you see this, my ring.
Woo! It's falling off.
I get it resized. I'm gonna wait a little while to get it resized. I don't want to get it resized more than one time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Proud of you, Kyle. What's going on with Kyle?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Good, buddy. Give us an update.
Oh, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down, I think 12, 13 pounds is what I just weighed in, and 12,
Nice.
13 pounds down. But I just want to say this. I do want to say this. Tom is, inspiring, man. He's going to inspire some people, and Andrew, too. But Tom, you can tell Tom struggled with this at the beginning, and it's just something that you're going to be an inspiration to people, Tom. It's good stuff, so.
He's already an inspiration.
Yeah.
He's inspiring me big time.
Well, and it's like as a team, guys, and that's I love that you all inspire each other, okay? And that's what I was saying to Tom today. Tom is like he's got his gifts. He's great. He's balanced. Andrew's got endurance. You're just a beast over there. But it lifts everybody up, and that's the power of a team working out together. And I love you guys. You're cheering each other on. You're encouraging each other, and I'm just really, really so proud of you. And I thank you for your yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to be back. We're going to take a break right now. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Don't forget to download your free app from your app store, your AM 1220 KHTS app. You can take us anywhere. Well, listen, I kept the real heroes in here because today's video, when I post today's video, in the background, you remember last episode, we were talking about the little chihuahua on the porch that just talk, and no action.
That's
and
right.
Justin was like the chihuahua, and he said he was going to come to the gym. Not only did he not show up to the gym,
Hold on. He's grabbing the mic. I'm assuming an excuse is coming up.
An excuse. Perfect.
On the perfect show.
But listen, Alex, not only did he not show up, he walked into the back of them working out with an ice cream.
You're lying.
No, you'll see it on film. And sat down and ate while they were working out.
All right, here it comes. Here comes the excuse. Ready?
That is called inspiration. Thank you very much. I was out there pumping up my brothers. Thank you very much. I support them fully.
Man.
Thank you very much. And I promise that I still will eventually get there at 4 a.m, but I do go to the gym. I go to LA Fitness. I'm sorry.
There's the excuse.
I do go.
There it is.
I'm done with you guys. I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
there's the example.
Wow. Okay. So listen, Alex, we've had an amazing show. A lot of great stuff. Do these people listening out there, what kind of tools? I'm going to throw out a few books, and then I want you to bring it home with some tools, then maybe some exercises they can do to help with excuses. Some great books that I've read are No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline with Brian Tracy. The Derek Coleman book is another great one. There's another one for kids called No Excuses by Dr. Wayne Dwyer, great one.
Yeah, I think that if you just open up a notebook and got honest with yourself and ask yourself, when I make excuses, what's the payoff I'm looking for? When I turn to a friend and come up with the excuse or the whining and complaining, what's the payoff? Do I get attention? Am I getting pity? Am I getting sorrow? And if you can acknowledge that it's either one of those or all three of them or more, just decide that that's just not what you want your life to be. You don't want to be remembered by the guy that or the girl that's complaining all the time and seeking approval and attention from others. What kind of legacy do you want to live? And if you can commit to creating the kind of legacy where you empower people or you switch the perspective and because we all have a reason why we're not doing something, but if we can just get honest with it and give the honest answer. I'd much rather you give me an honest answer like, I'm not committed to it, or I don't see the value of it, or I'm just lazy. Get honest and get real, right? Since we're on the show, get real about what it is. Don't come up with a story that's going to justify why you're not doing whatever it is you say you want.
Because otherwise you'll end up on One Day Island with Justice.
Someday. Which never comes, by the way.
Day?
Someday never happens.
Well, listen, we're bringing it to a close. A great show. Our next show is going to be one bite at a time. You got some personal stuff you're going to share with that. I want you to tell them you got some great stuff going on Tuesday night, and your show. Tell us a little bit about that.
We got every Friday, 1 o'clock, I jump in the studio on the mic with my beautiful 20-year-old daughter, Jasmine Urbina, and we just talk about our relationship and how to really improve on it, how to be conscious and aware. And, self-awareness isn't about being perfect. It's just about being, acknowledging some of the breakdowns and the shortcomings and learning from it and growing from it.
Nice. All right. Well, once again, thanks for joining us on Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.